Yep.
We've been live for 10 minutes.
Lies. What's going on, everyone? I'm Chris Baker.
And I'm Ty Backer.
Welcome to episode 110 of Behind the Tool Belt with TC Backer Construction.
I was the only one that didn't turn my shit down.
Still playback. Not going in.
So we got about a minute and 30 seconds here. This is usually when we kind of blast it out.
You know, you're putting
You need to sell me. Show me your skills, homie.
Yes. Sell your soul.
Yes. Here, Tom. Sell me this notebook.
You know that. You guys ever seen the Wall Streeters? Yes. Is that a scene from there?
Is that from the movie?
Let's do this.
TC Backer family, welcome to episode 110. Thank you guys for continuously tuning in. If you guys have not done so already, please like and share this stream out. Make sure you hit the bells for notifications. The way when we go live, you guys are notified. Today we got a special episode. We got Tyrus down at in New Orleans live at IRE, that's International Roofing Expo. We got my man Bucky, salesman here, live in studio taking Ty's spot, and we got a whole plethora of guys. We got Lead Scout live. We got a new salesman down there, Tom, down there with Ty, and we got Vic behind the ones and twos as always. Ty, if you want to introduce your guys there that you got at the round table, man.
Yeah, well, we're going to first do those. I want to see Tom sell me this notebook. We want to break Tom in right. This is the first Facebook Live ever. So I'm going to do my damnedest to try to embarrass the shit out of him. Okay,
yes.
So
fantastic.
We need the entire crowd in on this, okay?
Comfortable being uncomfortable.
Me.
Yeah, right. So that's Tom DeRuse, okay, which is actually our little satellite office up in Harrisburg, our lead man up there. And this is Joe. Joe, I still have no idea how to say your last name, so I will not even try to say it. And this is Chris Hofstra, which sounds like a famous all-star football
Well, there's
player.
a university. Hofstra University
Okay, maybe
in New York.
Right. I think it's special.
Yeah.
You are special.
I'm gonna keep
Yes.
this notebook. You don't want this notebook.
Really?
I'm gonna go ahead and keep this.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
That we actually got that down at the storm. What is it? The storm contractors restoration
Is
conference.
that in Orlando?
Look at this.
That was in Texas last week. Yeah. And I'm Ty Backer, and this is Behind the Tool Belt every Wednesday night, episode 110. Can you believe that?
Wow.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, can you believe that? Do you know the average podcaster lasts? Do you know how many episodes?
I would say probably. I mean,
I like seven. I like seven.
You have a lot of energy through 4 or 5.
Did you guys talk?
And then it becomes
before?
real 6 or 7. I'd say 6. Yeah, 7.
7.
Is it 7?
7. Yes, the average podcaster. So a couple knuckleheads like Chris Baker, myself, and Vic have pulled this off for 110 episodes. That's amazing. Like, almost got me choked up there for a second, like, because we started out doing this, and we talk about this quite often, and why it's on the forefront of my mind right now is because we started out doing this because we built gazebos and wanted to auction them off, but didn't know how to get it out to the public to let them know to come down to the York Builder Show to put a bid in on them. So someone suggested going on Facebook Live, and we're like, kind of like, okay, I don't know if I feel really comfortable with that. So there's this local dude that's like this public influencer or whatever that's called, an influencer, a social media influencer.
Yep.
Okay, his name's Shane DeGarry. He calls himself Shane Train. It was like, so somehow someone introduced us to him, and this dude's wild. Okay, he's got, I don't know how many followers and how many Facebook groups and pages. And I mean, dude's just off the hook. Like, every single minute of the day, he's going live, talking about him running, jogging, interviewing people on the streets in New York City. Dude, he's just addicted to it. So we got tied in with him. and we were used to go to his house. He has a studio at his house. It's green room, awesome setup. Uses iPhone, believes in iPhone, the camera, the quality, the everything of it. And he taught us everything on how to basically do this. So we started going to his house every Wednesday night, man. And it was so stressful to try to figure out the content, especially once the home show was over. Do you know what I mean? And then we had this bright idea. Well, let's go live at the home show, the entire home show. So we did. So let's say 3,000 people come in the doors all weekend. Dude, we were reaching tens of thousands of people. And we were like, dude, we're on to something here. We're on to something here. So we caught the bug and we haven't looked back. Shane's still doing his thing and we're doing our thing. And we've kind of taken it to a different level where we're not using the iPhones anymore. We were up until a few months ago. And then we started to invest more into the studio as far as the quality of the equipment that we had, like audio, video, and really nice cameras. And now we're talking about, anytime we come to things like this, like we're actually just going to get a booth now.
Yeah.
So that way we don't have to, come up and pack into our hotel room. We can just kind of interview.
It's very comfortable.
Yeah.
We're very comfortable.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I got to interject here real quick, Ty. I want to. I got to interject. I got to give a shout out to the American Contractor Show because I feel like when we went down to RoofCon and seen their setup, we were like, whoa, this is the real shit right here. This is what we got to get on. And we came back and shout out to Ty, man. I mean, he was like, look, we're getting the best shit that we can. We don't know how to use it, but we're gonna figure it out. We got Google and YouTube. We'll figure it out. And we got Vic, man. God bless him, man. He does everything that he can. Sure. And I tell you what, I was just telling Jana earlier, Vic got a new haircut right now. So like I used to be able to come in at like 6:15 and see the state of the studio by the way that Vic's hair was turned. Like,
if it was flipped the other way,
have hair, so I'm like, I don't know what I'm walking into here anymore. So.
Right. Nice. Yeah.
The eyebrows.
But listen, I went on a mission. Like I straight up spent like 4 weeks worth of paychecks. Like I'm not shitting you. Like every week, like I spent my entire paycheck for like 4 weeks on buying cameras and microphones and cords. Like we had to have the best cords. Like I got real crazy about like it's got to have like a brass tip on it. We can't use like that silver shit just because my brother was a DJ. Okay, so I grew up kind of like in that era of the 1980s and 90s and spinning 45s, and then CDs came out and all that stuff. But I remember the one thing that he used to always say is if you're whatever RCA cables or patch cords you're going to use, make sure they got a brass tip on them.
Does that still hold true? Did you get the one? I don't know if I'm seeing brass tips.
No, not this. Unfortunately, this stuff down here doesn't have brass tips on it, but I think
at the home studio.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes. This is the kind of pack it in your luggage.
So what you're saying to anybody watching that's thinking about doing this kind of thing, just go for it.
Go for it.
And then, give it a few weeks, few months, and then spend all your paychecks on brass tip cables.
That's right. Patch cords and RCA cables.
I mean, there you have
mics.
it.
We only got probably 12 different style of mics.
It's usually the guest that makes the show, right?
The
equipment's great, but the guest is what makes the
guest.
Show, right? Yeah. So you're screwed tonight.
Yes, because the equipment is subpar, but we're making it work, and we have great guests, and really that's all matters.
Yes.
As long as everybody can hear you guys, where'd Bucky go? What happened?
I'm
Bucky.
sorry. My 9-year-old is with me because it's single dad life. Sorry.
Let's see her. Bring baby
Yeah,
Ava.
we need a good guest.
We need an interesting guest. Yeah.
Ava, Ava, come here. They want to say hi and they want to see you.
They want to see the cool cousin.
They want to see the cool half of Bucky.
We come to find out those two are cousins.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah,
Swear to God.
Cousins. Come here.
Family show.
Hi, Ava.
There you go.
Hi, Ava.
There's Ava. Hey,
Say
Ava.
hi. Say hi.
Oh, see.
Okay.
She's
Good
cool,
stuff.
Man. She's cool. She's definitely way funnier than Bucky.
She's definitely cooler than me.
Yeah, she's the funniest cousin in the family that I've found so far.
That's what it's all about right there,
one,
though.
Man.
The white one. Sorry.
You should have episodes where you just bring kids on and you ask them about this.
Kind of like
Like
bringing
kids
a kid
say
to
the
work
darndest things.
day. Yeah,
Darndest
they do.
things.
There's a show, wasn't there, about that?
Yeah. Kids say the darndest things.
That's dangerous, man. You guys have
Yeah,
to
it's
watch
pretty
my
dangerous.
kids.
I kind of like it though. Maybe we'll do that on Tuesday nights.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
Cool.
Man. That's good stuff.
So
So,
what's
listen,
going
how
on?
are you guys enjoying yourselves down there, man? What's going on? I've purposely tried to not blow Ty up and ask him a ton of questions, so that I'm legitimately interested in his answers now. Like I don't know what's going on down there. I don't know what you guys are going through, what the turnout's like, nothing like that. I've followed a couple of the big roofing people that have posted in the groups to see, you know, what they're thinking and see the people walking around the areas and stuff. But, you know, how's the turnout? Is it busy? Or, you know, are all the vendors there?
Yes.
I would say it's pretty good.
Go ahead.
This is my first IRE, so I can't compare it to other years, but it seems good. It's real healthy turnout. Yeah.
Yeah.
For
No,
sure.
I mean, the last one I went to was in Dallas.
Mm-hmm. I bet that was good.
That was right before COVID. I mean, actually, COVID was around, right? We just didn't really know it because that was February of 2020.
Yep.
Was that as busy as this one?
It was a little bit busier,
Yeah.
but you know what? Part of it is when you do something for the first time, it's always like overwhelming, kind of like this is crazy, you know.
It feels very normal.
Yeah.
Yeah. This trade show.
Okay.
It doesn't feel, tampered by anything.
But I definitely think it's a better turnout than what I was expecting.
Yeah.
I
For
like
sure.
to hear that, man. With us having the home
that's
show
good.
coming up, man, I was really hoping to hear that. I'm really expecting us to have a really good turnout up here.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, Chris, because I said the same thing to Jana, because last year when we were in Vegas for IRE, like nobody showed up and a lot of people backed out. Like GAF had their display set up, but they didn't send anybody. Atlas backed out. Owens Corning backed out, like literally didn't even show up. And it was like, I felt like it was just Roof Scope and us.
Yeah.
Like you could hear a pin drop in the place. Like it was so ridiculous. So I said to her, this is a good sign, because last year IRE was kind of dead. Okay. Our home show was dead. So I'm hoping with this IRE this year being, cause man, I think it's packed.
Yeah.
Like it really is. Like, as
That's
far as I
That's
can
really
see,
good,
I
man.
mean,
Yeah.
I know Roof Scope kind of decided at the last minute that they weren't going to come, but I don't think it had anything to do with anything. I just think that they were busy
Sure.
doing
Sure.
stuff. Do you know what I mean? So I don't think it was COVID related or anything like that. But as far as I can tell, I mean, GAF Energy's here, GAF's here, Owens Corning's here, Certainty's here, Atlas
The
is
only
here,
one that didn't come is Tamco,
Tamco.
which
Yeah.
I was surprised because they've got the new Titan shingle. And I
Yes.
thought maybe that would
You're
be a
right.
big thing.
Did
but-
you see LP Siding was here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
LP?
Yeah, they were doing a little
They
like
moved
luncheon,
to the front. They actually
luncheon
got a,
urn
yeah.
I
kind of
thought
thing.
the greatest idea, and I talked to AJ at LP, but he's when you walk in, right when you walk in, there's these little plastic bags you can pick up to put all your junk in. You pick up candy and brochures and stuff, and they're branded LP. And so I said, AJ, great idea. He's like, they came to me with that promo piece last minute. They're like, we need somebody on our bags, and I was like, I'll do it.
Done.
Yeah, done.
Love
And
it.
you know what happens? Every single person in the venue has this
Walk around
big
with an
old LP logo on them, and
Building
it's like the
Solutions.
whole place is filled with LP. Nice move, AJ.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for real.
Yeah. No, the Cruz Brothers. So the Cruz
Yes.
Brothers set up this demo kind of shop, which was really cool. So shout out to the Cruz Brothers out of
Yeah.
Chicago.
Awesome.
They do really good work. So
I didn't know that.
they are
Yeah.
really partnered with LP Building Solutions to do a lot of the training. So if you want to be certified with LP, you got to go through the training with the Cruz Brothers.
Nice.
But the Cruz Brothers actually came to Michigan. They did this. LP sided an influencer's house in Grand Rapids, of all places, where Joe and I are from, and the Cruz Brothers came and did that.
Nice.
So
So
they
they get a
travel
lot
all
of
over the
supplies.
place to
I think-
do that.
I
Really?
think they get a lot of their supplies from the Midwest because they do a lot of their siding is made from hardwood, aspen, materials, and they grow a lot of that in Michigan, in Wisconsin.
Minnesota, I think, had a lot of
They-
plants in Minnesota.
Yeah, they've got that regenerative.
I didn't know any of that.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
who's the Cruz Brothers? There's just a construction
Yeah,
company?
they're like
construction company.
influencers. They're two brothers. It makes a good name. Two brothers, and they've been doing construction for roofing for.
I think they were a
long
top
time.
3 installer in Chicago for the last, well, they've been around for like 30 plus years.
Mhm.
So it was just a natural fit.
All right.
Um,
Of course.
so
That's good stuff right there. I love hearing that. Little,
And,
like that
and at this
local
trade show,
voice
there's
kicking
so
ass.
many interesting exhibits. But at this trade show, they were actually installing siding,
Mhm.
and talking about all the materials and all the new stuff, new fancy painted siding and stuff. But it was cool to see them install as they go. They're sawing stuff and
Yeah.
everything. Really interactive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the fact that it's like it's real wood.
yeah.
You
No,
know
I
what
mean, they're creating dust that you can actually breathe in.
Yeah.
That's not going to,
Right, like, yeah, right. I almost said like hardy plank because that might be
you
not
just
the
did.
best.
You just did.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, Hardy. If anyone,
Hey,
out there
Hopefully
from Hardy
OSHA's not watching this.
I love Hardy Plank. If there was a certification in Hardy Plank, we'd be certified in it.
Yeah.
We've been trained and all that stuff, but there's no certification certificate. Now, when you said certified with LP, is it an actual certification they
That's a great
receive?
question. I don't know. Do you know, Chris?
Well, they just launched their Remodeler's Edge program,
Okay.
which I was actually wearing one of their shirts yesterday. I don't have it on today, but so I think that's kind of their new, become certified, become part of the club.
Yeah. Right.
And it's called Remodeler's Edge.
So it doesn't change the warranties or anything like that, like some of the shingles and things do.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's about learning and more, just training, access to more resources.
Well,
really.
I know they just did a big software push too. They just launched a big platform. So, there's a lot of benefits that come out of that, I think, for the people in the certification program.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I know Certainteed has a certification that we just became Certainteed siding certified.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is it's actually through VSI, which is the Vinyl Siding Institute, which is here, which I should check them out tomorrow.
Yeah.
But you got to go through their criteria in order to become like I can't remember the name of it. Lauren's on here. I'm sure she'll remember what it is, but it's like craftsman, Certainteed craftsman certified or something like that. So she actually did it for us. But it was just another feather in your hat that you can say that you're certified and certified installer by Certainteed. And I don't know what warranty, like if it gives you like an extended warranty with it when you install it, but it's definitely good to have those credentials, like shingle manufacturer.
I think
stuff.
some of them also with it varies. Maybe a small benefit is you also get on their list where some homeowners or people call or go directly to their site and they want somebody who installs this by Eric.
Right.
And you're the one they direct you to.
Good thinking.
Is,
You're right.
Here and there,
For lead generation.
lead generator, every extra job helps. So
We do see that a lot with Lead Scout. With the manufacturers themselves are offering a ton of value to their contractors via their programs. So you have, for example, if you need leads, go to your manufacturer, and they a lot of times are generating those leads through their forms and their programs that they're running.
Yeah.
So they can give you those leads or help to source those leads for you.
Yeah.
Same thing happens with the various types of product rebates that they offer, and there's so many different points of value that they offer. But we've seen that explicitly, with LP, their new program, Remodelers Edge, you mentioned that, GEF. They all have specific programs.
Yeah, and I like that because GAF Energy has something in place where they've already been giving us leads for the solar shingle. Yeah, like quite a few.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Just because you are if you're local to that lead,
right,
it goes to you.
Yeah, like almost the same day that they launched it.
Yeah,
it was crazy how out in front of that they were, plus the publicity that they got from Wall Street Junior, whatever the hell it is, Wall Street Journal.
Yeah. Yep. They were at CES too. And made a huge splash. I mean, they were making the Times and everything too.
Right. Yeah.
I
was in a newspaper when I was in school.
Alexa robot, and then you'd see like solar shingle.
Yeah.
This was a huge splash.
Right.
Absolutely.
No, it was. I was going to say I was in a newspaper when I was in school, and we called it the Wall Street Journal Junior. That's why I was getting tongue tied there for a minute.
Sure.
But yeah, like what was it? MSNBC, everybody like had this big thing, and they shared all of that with us. So we put it on our website and started running Facebook ads with it. And it just is really, I mean, I think Lauren told me today that the guys have like 25 in the pipeline right now.
Yeah.
Which is huge. I mean, they just launched it on the 3rd.
That's awesome.
That you guys have.
Yes.
So kudos to you guys for being chosen by GAF to represent the new Timberline nailable solar shingle.
Yeah, man. Yes.
And shout out to Bachman Roofing.
Yes.
Because they were they actually sold the first solar shingle.
Yeah.
And then Resnick installed the first. Resnick
out in Pittsburgh.
Yeah. So shout out to Resnick,
which is ironic because that they gave 3 of us in Pennsylvania the criteria in order to install it, because there's a lot of people that I've been talking to here that are not upset, but like, hey, they just haven't launched it yet in their areas yet. That they're allowing us.
They're rolling it out in phases. I know, right?
Yeah.
Like I want it in Michigan, but it's not quite there yet. But in the coming months, I think.
So we're very fortunate to be in the area that we're in. To be able to
so much. What was the number? I talked to one of the reps today, and they were saying do you remember the number of connections, independent connections within that? That it's just a high level of complexity in that product. It's really impressive.
Yeah. What was it? $120 million went into the technology of that.
Absolutely.
Of that.
I can't
They
even
invested
imagine.
a ton into it.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, man,
And that's just the tip. And that's just the tip
article.
of the iceberg.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it.
I know.
Right?
Yeah, seriously.
Because were you telling me that they haven't done the battery thing yet? But
No,
that'll
that's
come?
coming. Yeah, like this is ready for it, but it hasn't come out yet.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It comes out in stages.
Yeah, huh?
Battery is
I'm
going to be the
looking
real
forward to it.
I feel like Chris has
differentiator,
giggled a couple times. He's definitely smiling about something.
Nah,
Yeah,
listen,
well,
we got Lauren and Julie in our comments right now doing dad jokes, and they're so cringy and funny at the same time, and it's.
Oh, I love
Well,
a
please
good
share.
dad joke.
Please share.
I love a good dad joke.
Do you want to hear one? All right. Lauren said, "Do you guys want to hear a joke about construction? Do you want to hear a joke about construction?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
She's still working on it.
That
That's actually really good.
that
Hold on,
reminds me of,
Please don't unfollow
my
us if you're
3-year-old.
watching. Please don't unfollow us. We're gonna write her up tomorrow. We're gonna handle it.
Yeah, make sure Tam's listening from HR so they can write her up.
I've never been prouder of my 3-year-old. He was sitting around the dinner table, and I tell a lot of dad jokes, but he came up with this one all on his own. And he said to me, "Hey, Dad, can I tell you a joke about vegetables?" He's 3 years old. I said, "Sure, Asher, go ahead, tell me a joke about vegetables." He goes, "Only if you say peas."
Wow. He came up with
He
that?
came up with
That's
that.
great.
Yeah,
I actually
That
love
is
that.
fantastic.
Dude, I
I
love
said, "We
that.
need to squash this right now. We don't have any time."
Oh.
Yeah.
You just came up with that now. Right?
That was
I've been
cool.
workshopping
We all
that
knew.
one for months,
I'm
actually.
pretty sure we all knew that.
What are the great takeaways?
That's fantastic.
Listen, I know my girl is at home laughing hysterically right now. She
Yeah.
loves dad jokes.
Is that a good thing?
Well,
We're both from Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Yeah.
From a genealogy standpoint, I think we're all cousins somehow because I also am from Grand Rapids.
You're from Grand Rapids, Michigan.
I was born there.
Are you serious?
way.
We almost
No
have to hug it
kidding.
out right now.
Well, I'm adopted. I mean,
So am I.
I
I swear to God.
are you really? Okay.
I'm straight from Grand Rapids.
I'm adopted to Grand Rapids. I moved there when I went to college, so I'm not native. Even though I look, it's a very Dutch area.
Yep.
Even though I look kind of Dutch, I'm not Dutch. So but I blend in.
Oh,
Which is
Where were you born?
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
Yeah, Kenosha. Everybody knows Kenosha nowadays.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
So
we get.
give us a little more background there. I feel like you're
Okay.
holding out on us a
All
little
right.
bit.
Yeah. Well, I do have a little bit of a colored past. So I was born in Kenosha, Wisconsin, but pretty quickly my parents went overseas. So I actually spent the majority of my younger years in Tanzania, in East Africa. And what you have in your mind is probably very close to, as you picture a village in Tanzania, it's probably close to the truth. Like I grew up next to mud huts and, on the shores of Lake Victoria. I ran through the woods with a slingshot. Most of the days I was just dirty colored because I was just, really rolling around the dirt all day long, and grew up in what I like to think of as maybe more of a 1950s childhood, I guess. No TV or anything like that.
Mhm.
But then my parents came back to the States in 2001, July 2001, right before September 11, or a few months before that. And we moved to northern Minnesota, Duluth, just north of Duluth area. If you're familiar with that area, you might call it Duluth. So Duluth, Minnesota. And that's where I spent the rest of my high school years. And then eventually I moved to Grand Rapids, Michigan in my college years. And I've been there ever since. Formed a family and started a career, and here I am.
That's
and
awesome.
not leaving.
First time in New Orleans, though.
Yeah, me too. First time.
I can't say
Likewise,
that.
first
I've
time.
been here a
Yeah.
couple times, Jan and I.
Your first time.
But I'm intrigued by that. I mean, I'm very fascinated by that story. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not
Well, what do
the
you
first
want to
time
know?
I
I'm
heard
an
it.
open book.
Well,
Not this
I
book.
just
This book is actually
no, that's my book. But
How much do you
Tom
want?
can try to sell it to you. I really want to see Tom sell something.
This is my book.
Yeah, we've
Is
taken
it?
that over.
Yeah, this is
Okay.
my book now.
Okay.
I'll give it to you. How
I'll
much?
sell it to you
No, it's
at a
mine.
premium.
You want it?
Sure.
Okay, how much? I'll give it to you for $5.
Well, the information that's in that book
Yeah.
is priceless.
Yeah.
Okay, $15. It's a deal of a lifetime.
I'll give you 20.
All right, cool.
So what were you going to say? I felt like you wanted to ask me something.
No, I don't know what I was going to say. You were saying that was interesting, and you.
Yeah, the whole Tunisian thing, man. Just
Yeah.
because that's like Tunisian pea berries, like one of my favorite coffees.
Yeah.
Is that like legit?
Tanzanian, yeah.
Tunisian. Well, it's kind of like New Orleans. Do we say New Orleans or is it
Nolans?
New Orleans?
New
or
Orleans.
New
It's like
Orleans?
Baltimore. Baltimore. Like, yeah, it depends on water,
Yeah.
water,
Roofs
whatever.
are roofs.
Yeah, roofs.
So
Roofs.
So I mean, this kind of only pertains to us, Joe and I, because we know the hospitals in Grand Rapids. Was it Butterworth or
Now, I
Blodgett?
can't tell you because,
You can't
like
tell?
I said, I was adopted from birth.
Oh,
So it's
okay.
like, hey, I want that one.
Yeah.
Oh, and then where did
Snatch
you
me
go?
up
That's
and
a
I
good
was out
looking.
of
That's a
there.
good
For the
looking one.
most part.
Okay, so where'd you
Strong
grow up?
bones.
Denver, Colorado.
Okay, so you moved in
Denver,
instantly.
Colorado.
You were out of
Spent
there.
a couple of years in the centers in Kansas for a couple of years.
Okay.
And then moved into the Harrisburg area since 19.
Oh, no kidding.
83
Okay.
or
And I
something.
have-
And you've been
Way
selling
before-
roofs.
way
You've been selling
before
roofs
YouTube
our
was
entire
born.
lives. Not
No.
way before.
Oh.
I was when I was born.
No.
Okay. When did you start selling roofs?
My beginnings of sales came with cars.
Okay.
So I sold cars for 12 years back when I was young. And had
Never
and had hair.
read books though.
So never read those
Yeah.
books. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's why he hasn't sold those yet.
I know.
What's
Well,
a Tanzanian, Tunisian peaberry?
Peaberry.
It's like a smaller coffee bean.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was going to ask
What's-
you, is that legit or is it just something that?
Tanzanian coffee is very legit.
Yeah.
They have some
Yeah,
of the best
peaberry used to be
coffee
my
in the world.
favorite. It's
Usually
tough to
very
find.
fruity.
Yeah.
Like if you go like Central America, I think a lot of the coffee in South America is usually a little bit more nutty in flavor,
Mhm.
the aftertones and stuff.
Yes.
And like I've always found East African is more fruity.
Yeah.
Not like sweet, but it just has like more fruity than nutty.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm a snob, I guess.
Yeah, I am too. Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Definitely
but
coffee
I'm not
snobs.
familiar with that.
Oh, really? I can't believe you have.
Well,
Well,
I mean,
look
I
it
was. I mean,
The coffee
I was
beans are
10 months
are-
old
are
to
smaller.
11 years old. When I
They're about
moved,
half the
so
size.
coffee was
Okay.
my major. thing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I did spend some time. We went back a few times, and I spent some time in the highlands of Kenya and Tanzania, where they grow tea and coffee.
Yes.
It's just some of the most beautiful areas.
I
on
bet.
Earth. Just the misty morning, the green highlands. Yeah, it's great.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Cool.
You
Yeah,
would
man.
love it. We should
Yeah.
go sometime.
I think I
Let's
would.
go.
Yeah.
I'm down.
Yeah.
Totally.
Let's build some houses.
Let's put some roofs on.
Solar. I mean,
Yeah.
last time I
Let's
checked,
do some
the
Actually,
sun. Last time I
solar is
checked,
huge,
the
yeah.
sun shined a lot there.
Yeah, that.
Well, to be honest, so Africa, East Africa specific. That's all I can speak to. I've never been to West Africa or any of the other regions, but I mean, everything's so disconnected here in the United States. We have a lot of power lines
Mhm.
overhead and in the ground,
Yes.
and we have, we went from telephone wires to cell phone towers. It kind of made this gradual progression through technology. But areas like East Africa or India or China, they haven't had to make that progression. It's gone straight to wireless, or so they have everybody's just gotten a cell phone.
Yeah.
So they haven't had to put up the wires.
The infrastructure.
The
and
infrastructure.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
And when it goes to electricity, it's like, why run electric lines? That doesn't make any sense. That would cost so much. Let's just buy a solar panel and we can power, the village on a few solar panels or a farm or whatever. And they don't have the existing, regulations or utility companies that have lobbying powers and all that stuff. So it just kind of happens, and these systems come online, and all of a sudden you go, oh, they have the internet now. This jungle village out in the middle of nowhere has the internet now and
Yeah.
has cell phones now.
That's awesome.
When I went back in 2013, I was still maybe rocking a 3G connection on my flip phone,
Mm-hmm.
and went back to visit, and everybody was just like the fastest internet. It was like connecting your laptop to Ethernet. It was just the fastest
Yeah.
internet in the most rural areas. I couldn't believe it,
Yeah.
just because they leapfrogged ahead of the United States in the wireless game.
What the hell is that? Shit, I wanted to say something, but I can't remember what the hell I wanted to say. But so okay, battery backup. So do they have battery backups, or is it just straight up solar, and then at night it kind of like?
Oh, that's a great question. Actually, I'm not. So I can speak to some of the use cases in the village that I grew up in. So I was aware of a solar installation that happened after we left, and I believe they did have some level of battery backup with that. So it's probably a case by case basis, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I mean, a lot of what the problem is affordability of solar panels. It's super expensive
Yeah.
for people to install solar panels over there when they're making not as much money as we might make in the United States.
Right.
So usually it's good enough just to have power during the day, but if you can have some level of storage backup, that's just a bonus on top.
Yeah, for sure.
The power during the day is better than nothing, which is what they started from.
Mm-hmm.
So
No doubt.
yeah,
Good stuff.
that's definitely the frontier here, though, in the United States. I'd say is battery backups and the fighting ground that we're going to be seeing the next. You already see it starting with EVs. What is Ford doing? They're transitioning to EV, but what's their big focus?
Right.
A massive battery facility in Tennessee. So I think with solar roofs, you're going to see that push become significant too. Because as soon as utility companies allow any sort of storage on site, right now a lot of that goes back to the grid, but if they allow any sort of storage on site, you're going to see a huge residential push to battery backups.
Yeah.
So Tesla Powerwall's, ahead of the curve there, but I'm sure that GF will probably follow soon, and everybody's going to follow GF's lead on this solar roofs too.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, I know Certainty had a shingle out for a while, but I mean, I haven't heard anything about it, so I don't know if it went to the wayside or what. But
I know a lot of people were leasing Tesla's tech, weren't they?
Yeah.
And Tesla couldn't keep up on the production.
Probably not.
There's too many problems with installation on that.
Right.
So I think everybody had to figure out how to do it themselves. That's where GF's shingle came from.
Yeah, man. It's good stuff. I watched their installation program. I actually posted something on TikTok about it, but it's definitely fascinating to watch how it's installed, because really it's installed just like a shingle. It's got a 25-year warranty. I think each shingle will produce 45 kilowatts per shingle, which is freaking amazing, really, if you think about the size of a shingle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I think they can adapt the size too. So most states have some sort of regulation around, like, you got to calculate how much you use. And they give
totally.
They give you what you need for your home.
Right.
So I think they can adapt the size.
Well, and it's funny you say that, because, not necessarily just the array gets bigger, meaning like you can get more rows of shingles. The cool thing about the shingle is, compared to like using the panels you can only fit in so many areas on a roof. The shingles you can actually put in an area that's as wide as a shingle. So you have more area to put solar on there, and like you were talking about, to try to match or exceed or beat your electric bill.
You can still.
Can you have multiple installations on the roof? Like different slopes? You could have one over here.
Yes,
one over
that's
here,
what I mean. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. So if you got a little garage roof over here that's only 48 inches wide, you'll and 48 inches tall, you'll be able to get however many shingles in that area.
No kidding.
Yes.
So you mentioned the 25-year warranty. Have they included the golden pledge into that?
Yes.
So you get the workmanship
Each
too?
roof gets a golden pledge. There's actually 2 or 3 different stages. So like with the regular golden pledge warranty, so you got like the golden pledge, the silver, and the weather stopper plus. Okay, so that's just the shingle manufacturers. Okay, so basically when you're installing the solar, they also have like a golden pledge. I can't remember the name of it, but there's multiple levels to that as well. So you can get a good, better, best.
Yeah. And for anybody listening that doesn't know what a golden pledge, it covers the labor and materials up to 25 years.
And
they're saying they'll cover the labor of the shingles.
Yes. Yes. So what they'll do is not only will they send us out the solar, they'll send us the shingles as well. And they also have 4 different solar colored shingles. Like the charcoal solar is a lighter color. The Weatherwood solar is a lighter color that they'll ship with us.
So it's not all black.
No.
So do they match all their, they got the Timberline different colors, right? Like, do they match those, or is it just a similar color?
It's a similar color. It doesn't match the charcoal. It's actually a lighter looking charcoal.
But enough to kind of fit in, or
to make it more energy efficient.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it is very interesting. So they got 4 colors there. I don't remember the other 2. I think it might be pewter. Oh, was there 6?
Well, no, 6 total, I think. But they only had 4.
4, available.
Solar.
Yes, 4 solar.
Weatherwood.
Yes, Weatherwood, charcoal.
No, not
Pewter.
I should.
We can check that.
Is it pewter? Yes.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Pewter.
Yeah. So do you guys want to discuss what you do at all? I mean, you guys.
This is way more. Yeah, we could.
The only reason why I wanted to bring, if not, that's cool too. It's because we're proud that you guys, and thankful that you guys are our sponsor. You know what I mean? And what we need to do, and if John's listening, we should do like a commercial, start doing like a little Lead Scout commercial about midway through the show.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like big shout out to, Lead Scout.
We're on board for that. Yeah.
So just food for thought. You
Okay.
know,
Yeah.
if John's listening, if you guys got some
we'll
input on
talk
that.
about the logistics.
Thanks for
Yeah.
asking us.
Yeah.
We appreciate you including us, and it's huge for us to be a part of this. We
Yeah.
really appreciate it.
No, we love the fact that you got me some swag, and we couldn't do this without you guys. You know what I mean? And that's why I was like, I want to at least say a little bit of what you guys do to give you guys some props on what you have done for us. You know what I mean? As far as branding and marketing and us rebranding right now and getting our name and stuff out there. And I mean, we don't have to really go any further than that what you have done for us as a contractor and what you do for other contractors.
Yeah.
Well, I can speak to that. I mean, the reality is Joe and I haven't done much advertising on our own. It's really been through word of mouth. It's guys like you, Tom, you guys using the tool and sharing that and not being afraid to share it with other contractors, right? So, the likes of GAF and, LP, they're telling their contractors, and their contractors are sharing their successes and failures, right? Hey, we did this, it really didn't work, but we changed this up and then it worked, right? And so, that's really how we wouldn't be here. I can say the same thing. We wouldn't really be here if it wasn't for you guys talking about it.
Do you guys have a booth at IRE?
We just walked the show.
Yeah.
Just walk
Yeah,
around checking it out.
We're talking to a lot of manufacturers, and so people probably know us for our canvassing app. If you know about us, we have a mobile app that a lot of people like to use for canvassing, and that's certainly a core part of who we've been and who we are. As we step into this year, what we've been focusing on is neighborhood marketing, and that's a part of our mobile app, but we're expanding that and actually rebuilding it from the ground up, which we're super excited about. So it's the idea of neighborhood marketing. Maybe you're familiar with it, maybe you're not, but the idea is if you're doing a job, you got a pending install in a neighborhood, you should be talking to the neighbors around that job. You might do that via a yard sign, which is passive. We want you to be a little bit more aggressive with it and do utilize all the different ways that you can market, right? Postcards, handwritten notes, digital ads. There's a plethora of different ways to advertise. Yep. We're automating some of that. So, through CRMs and through integrations with platforms that exist out there where you have your pending installs, we're automating some of that. So it just happens. And then the manufacturer part of this is we're working with manufacturers to help to create the content, because that's a lot of times the biggest lift. It's what do I say? How do I say it? What should the colors and the content be in this creative campaign? And so what we're doing is we're working with the manufacturers to make that easy. So solar is a great example, right?
Yeah.
If we're hoping, crossing our fingers, that we get to work with GAF Solar, because they're kind of the exciting thing in this few months of this quarter, right? If we get to work with them, we would put, your contractor postcard or contractor, digital ad. They would have all your branding on it, and it would say, proud to be an installer of GF Energy and the new solar shingles, right? And so that's what that type of marketing campaign would look like. So that's why we're here talking to manufacturers right now, because we have to put those programs up and running,
right? And
then the floodgates open for contractors to get involved.
Yeah, it's a great program too, man. And you guys are doing it the right way. You're not slamming all kinds of overhead into advertising and all that kind of stuff. You're letting the product speak for itself.
Yep.
Contractors aren't going to lie about it. If it's junk, they're going to tell people it's junk. And you guys have a really good product, so we appreciate you guys sponsoring us, like Todd said. And I'm looking forward to actually getting the tool in my hand with the new features that you guys are talking about, or haven't fully let on yet what's going on to the public, but to see some of the stuff that you guys are working on, man, to actually get that in my hand and see how it's active, I think it's going to be really good, man.
Yeah.
Well,
we'll launch it on the show for you guys.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's a really good idea.
One thing I want to say about it, though, Chris, is, one of the things that we can, if we want to talk about the product, it's almost more about how can we help contractors develop better, consistent behavior, right? And so Lead Scout becomes more top of funnel. It's kind of like, you remember high school physics, right? Object in motion tends to stay in motion.
Yep.
So a lot of the things that we are doing is just creating motion, creating this inertia, and that is letting the homes around a job know who you are, where you're working. But it doesn't stop there. Obviously, the whole intent, and we talked about it, and we can just be totally transparent with people. When we first started this, where did we fail?
Right.
Tell them, where did we fail? Right. We weren't consistent in getting out there and checking in with those homeowners. We don't replace the old school knock the door. And some people might say, we don't knock the door, we don't canvas.
No.
But the reality
create more touch points.
You have to knock those doors.
Right.
I mean, guys, if you're doing a job at 123 Main Street, if you're not introducing yourselves to those neighbors, even if it's just 4 or 5 a job, right? So what we want to do is create that momentum. Say, look, we know that's tough, right? Where do I start? What do I say? Well, how about you just say, hey, I sent you a lead letter. You might actually got a couple of them. We're working with Tom and Betsy over there at 123 Main Street. I just want to introduce myself. If you see any equipment or, trucks of concern, here's my card. Let me know. Safety, disturbing the neighborhood is like a
debris, whatever.
Those kind of things. We need to know about that. And so what we're doing is just creating that momentum.
Yeah, you guys are creating more touch points to add to the list of touch points. You guys are basically another tool that a contractor can use in their list of tools that they already should be using, from their branding, their marketing, whether it's billboards, radio advertisements, video ads, digital marketing, geofencing, that kind of stuff. You're adding just another touch point so that when the contractor goes and knocks on the door, they already see, they see the hat. Oh, TC Becker, we see your advertisements everywhere. We just got this mailer from you. So they're familiarizing themselves with you subliminally. So when you go knock that door, you're a familiar face and you're not just some stranger. What are you doing on my lawn?
Yes. Yeah. Good point, Chris.
Yeah. There's so many tools. What we've noticed is there's so many tools out there that really, when somebody is aware of you, once they move past that awareness stage in the marketing cycle, that you can nurture them. Right. So I could name a few, but we'll just say like Hatch app, does a great job of utilizing text messages to do that. We've got a ton of proposal tools out there, Roofer and Hover and all these different proposal tools for curating that nurturing stage of a life cycle of a lead. There's a huge gap at the beginning of that though, which is what happens, kind of between canvassing and that nurturing stage. Like how do you build awareness? And there's a gap in efficiency. Like you can do the legwork, you can do that elbow grease, and you can develop your digital ad campaigns. You can have some mail strategies. You can do all this stuff. It's a pain in the butt, and it's a lot of work to do it. And so what we try to do is recognize that and say, well, let's make it a lot easier. So ideally, where we're getting with this is, contractor can just put in an address, and then the play runs itself. That's what we're doing. We're running that.
That's awesome, man.
Not everybody has, Chris. Not everybody has the infrastructure that you and Ty have, and your team has to run the play. And kudos to John.
Yeah, big time.
What he does for you guys. Yeah. Most of the roofing contractors out there, exterior contractors, don't have that.
Yes.
And so we just want to say, okay, well, let's just use some technology, make it accessible, and automate that.
Yes. Yeah,
so
we have a question on here. So we have a gentleman, Oscar, is asking, is cold calling to generate leads, is that dead?
No. Okay. So let me speak to what I just said, which is, so we have the nurturing part of it and we have the awareness part of it. This is key because you heard a lot today, Chris, when you told me, you said, everybody's asking me about emails. Can you send emails? And I'm like, yes, we can send emails to people. We get email addresses. We get the right email address. We can send emails. If you get an email from somebody you didn't talk to, or you get an email from somebody you didn't say, hey, you can send me emails. What does that feel like to you?
Bro, we're taught to delete them and never open them.
Right.
Exactly. Okay. It feels, first of all, it feels like crap if you're not expecting it and you think it's spam, right? But second of all, you might not even notice it because you're like, I don't know what this, go straight to the spam folder. Okay. Right. So the thing about cold calling and the thing about emailing is it's better to have a warm touch. It's better to build that awareness first and then to enter into that. Right. So those are techniques. So we would use those for retargeting, like cold calling. I guess it'd be warm calling then all day long for retargeting. Send them the postcard first. Get your logo, get your brand in front of them. Put your billboards up. Make sure your yard signs are out. Make sure you're doing all those things, and then start the phone calls. Okay. Yeah. And better yet, make sure if somebody hits your website or if you have landing pages, like for Lead Scout, we've got these landing pages. So if they are filling out those forms on your landing pages, that they've hit you once. That's when you retarget them with the phone call or the text messages or the emails.
Yeah, would you guys agree? So Oscar, to put that in perspective in the roofing industry, I think how I would put that in layman terms is basically if you're a contractor that does repairs, Okay, you maybe flag this address that you did a repair there at some point. You notice that they got, maybe 15 years of life on a 25-year shingle. Maybe 3 years from now, maybe that's when you hit a cold call on that previous customer that you've already built a relationship, you've already built a trust with, and I guess you can call that a cold call. Because you're calling them out of the blue. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, I remember I dealt with you 3 years ago. I think it may be smart for us to come out and maybe take a look at that. You were kind of towards the end of life on your shingle at that point in time. What do you think about that? That's probably the extent of a cold call, in my opinion. Like Johnny said, warm the call up. Like you said, create other touch points and familiarize yourself with that customer before you're just, calling someone and saying, hey, I want to sell you a roof.
Like back in the day, old school cold calling. I mean, but today with all the technology, it shouldn't necessarily be a cold call anymore.
Right, absolutely. That's
cold calling can actually create a negative impression, which you don't want, right? Lead to bad reviews.
Well, and you got all that insurance, your extended warranty stuff, and that's going on nowadays, that constantly. So it's like most people aren't going to probably answer the phone anyhow if they don't recognize that number.
But I think I don't know if this is what you were trying to say, but I think we're becoming more accustomed and comfortable with the fact that this information's available, and it's how you deliver the message, right? I mean, this is sales 101, right? The salesperson that goes in and delivers the message in a way that's warm and considerate of the other person, rather than you should hear all about me, right?
Right.
They're going to be more receptive to that, right? Because no one likes a sales pitch per se, right? But I got a call the other day from a realtor, and he just said, hey, he just admitted it. He said, hey, I know I'm calling you out of the blue. I was able to get some information on homes in your area. Do you still live in Eastgate Neighborhood Association? I'm like, actually, no, I just moved. But had I still been there, what he was asking was, look, I've got some clients looking to move into Eastgate. He cold called me, right? And I was okay with that to the degree that I know he just sourced my number somewhere. So we can do that. So Oscar, to your point, we can do that. The question is who are you cold calling, right? If you're just randomly calling like, hey, I'm Oscar and I'd love to sell you a roof. That's different than, hey, I'm doing a job in your neighborhood. And I know it's kind of a little creepy, but I was able to get some information on some of the homes, and I just want to introduce myself. I'll be by on Tuesday, right? That kind of stuff. It's just how you deliver it. And sometimes people actually appreciate it. Like, man, this Oscar guy's like, he gets after it. I'm sure if something went wrong, he'd fix it. Right. And I'm being a little tongue in cheek at that, but there's truth behind it.
You have a really good point, Chris, because that, for a door-to-door guy, that can in turn, hand in hand, prevent you from wasting time. If you're going into a community, a 700 home community, instead of knocking all 700 doors because Mrs. Smith down the road had a windstorm, instead of knocking all 700 doors, you may be able to knock 200 people off that list because they'll say, no, I already have a guy, or no, we just had an inspection, or whatever. You know what I mean? That whatever the objection may be. Now, for all the door-to-door people and the Texas guys, there probably is no such thing as an objection that's not overcomable. But that, if you only have so much time to knock so many doors, you may be able to cross that list off and save yourself some time, which time is money in the roofing industry. So.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Wingless voicemail. We've talked about that, but that's another thing to consider as well.
And I think a lot of people got a lot out of what you guys said, like Chris Montgomery here saying, great advice, guys. This has been a question I've been kicking around for a while. So that was definitely a good subject, good topic, and a good question that Oscar asked. I mean, because cold calling, that's something people have asked me before, like, do you have a call center? It's like, no, we have a lot of people that answer the phone if need be, but I don't have like people, calling out. Just cold calling people. But maybe it's something to consider once we know all of those touch points have been made, then we're not strangers no more.
Well, you've been asking me that along with Johnny is, what areas are we focusing these marketing dollars? And that's what you're getting at.
Yes,
we can identify the digital ads, the mail pieces, the billboard that you're putting up in that area.
Right. So
then maybe it's time to pick up the phone and just start making some calls.
Right. Exactly. And the sales guys can. Do you know what I mean? Instead of sitting around on a rainy day, it's almost like just pick up the phone and start making calls of the neighbors around the existing builds that we've done.
Yep.
For sure.
Exactly. Yeah.
So would you be able to offer phone numbers? Where would we get the phone numbers from?
Yeah, so phone number. Well, if you're speaking specifically for Lead Scout, I mean, part of what we're doing here is you get with the neighborhood jobs that happen, right? So you're doing a job site or you have a pending install. We calculate the surrounding 20 homes, and then we'll start a campaign around those homes. And that campaign can include, like I said, postcards, handwritten notes, digital ads. But what happens is when we pick up those addresses, and we have a pretty unique algorithm that calculates those things and, you know, takes out the businesses, takes out the ones that don't have people,
Renters.
you know, renters, stuff like that. It gets the actual homeowners in that area. We can actually, if those people hit on those postcards, we can actually pick up their phone numbers, right? Because we got a web landing page that they'll go to once they actually click on the ad or you know, scan the QR code on the postcard. They go to a web landing page, they'll enter their information, and we get the real phone numbers. Because data is a dime a dozen. It's super easy to get data, very hard to get the right data.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure we're getting it from the source, and then you can go ahead and text, call that phone number. And at that point, it's almost a hot lead because that person is, you know, actually giving you their information voluntarily. You better be picking up that phone and giving them a ring within 24 hours if you want to close that deal.
Absolutely.
They are ready.
Yes.
Okay? There's other ways to enrich that data source we're looking into. But like I said, we want to make sure it's the right data, not just any data, because it's so easy to get the wrong data these days. And we don't want to waste everybody's time.
Yeah. Good stuff, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. No doubt. So what's going on over there, Bucky? How's Ava?
Oh, she's doing good.
Good.
Yeah, she's
Good.
hanging out.
Yeah.
I think we need a third mic over there.
Yeah.
She's bored over here a little bit.
She's bored. She's been
A third camera?
signing, asking me how long.
Gotcha.
Are we
Where
there
are we
yet?
at here?
Are we there?
Where are we
yet?
at? We're at 51 minutes.
We got time, man. We got time. We
Yeah.
got time.
We got all the
Honestly,
time.
man, it's been a good week so far. The guys are busting. We're about to get the weather that you guys just had down there. You guys had some cold, rainy weather down there. We're about to get that up here. I'm just happy that we got, you know, double digits that are above, that start with a digit 3. So
Yeah, me
Yeah,
too.
man, for real.
I was coming in
it's
here
been
this
rough.
evening and it was 41, and I'm like riding with the windows down. I'm like,
We
This
actually
is
had the
great.
windows down on the way. Oh man, it felt
yeah,
great.
yeah. So you know, it's been wind chill of single digits here the past couple days, and it's been freaking cold. And my guys have been getting their butts kicked, but we got some shop work that we can do. We're gonna try to get some education in tomorrow. You know, just trying to stay busy and constantly improving. That's what we're trying to do here. So, if you know, it's a great idea. We just recently started coming up with the idea that instead of having rain days and calling guys off, like let's bring them in and teach them something. You know,
Yeah.
and constantly educate themselves. So
I like that.
the guys have been studying in the GAF book. We're trying to get every employee, that new employee that's been in during this COVID season. I don't even want to call it a COVID season because it's so freaking long. Seasons are supposed to end, but we're trying to get everyone caught up and get everyone certified with GAF. GAF is just one of the leaders in that aspect of things as far as offering offering training and the technology at your fingertips that you have for training videos. You know, if you ever, you know, Ty, I don't know if you remember, but we had an incident with one of our builders that used a non-GAF product. And remember, we were trying to find that product's warranty stuff, and we noticed that it was literally on their website. It was literally like a picture of the exact same thing that was in the GAF book. So it's like the GAF Bible that we call it. It's a little. I don't even want to call it little. I mean, it's thick.
Yeah, it's a
it's
big
thick. That's basically the standard for the roofing industry. I mean, with that said, I'm not discrediting any other shingle manufacturers out there, but 9 times out of 10, man, if you look up something in GAF, it can apply to every shingle manufacturer as far as like flashing standards, how you run your ice and water shield, valleys, like all that kind of stuff. So we've been trying to make sure the guys stay up to date on that stuff. You know, going over safety has been a pretty big focus for us this year. We decided that this year was not decided that this year. We've always thought that took safety importantly, but we're really going to make a push and try to go above and beyond because, you know, most of the job sites have a rule that, you know, whatever rule is more strict. So if you have a builder, we do a lot of new construction up here. So if the builder's rule is more strict than what OSHA's rule is, then you go by the builder rule. You know, it's whatever one is more strict. Well, we'd like to provide the TC Backer rule. So there is no rule that overrides our rule. We go either by the book or better. So there's no confusion. It's not like, oh, well, which builder is this? What rule do we have to follow when we go to this job site? Let's just make a standard across the board. That way, there's no gray areas, and if we train the men and the roofing and the roofers and the framers on job sites, we set the pace for the job site. Any of you guys that worked in the field before, anyone watching knows what I'm talking about when I say when you pull up on a job site and you see someone in shorts and no hard hat, oh, it's this type of job site. Cool. You know what I mean? So you get out, cut off sleeves, you leave your hard hat in the truck. And that's just kind of the standard. So with the roofers and the framers, we're usually the highest up in the air. The framers are usually in a house that doesn't have walls. You can see them, we're high vis. So we set the pace for the job site. So when the plumbers show up to do rough ends, if the roofers aren't wearing hard hats, they're probably not going to put their hard hats on because it's that type of job site. So we're really trying to make a push this year to, develop the TC backer standard, the way there's no gray areas, and just, kind of set the pace for the industry a little bit here, man.
Yeah, for sure, Chris. That's a good. What's that?
I love that.
Yeah, it's a good point that he brought that up. We've always strived to have a safe job site, and so we've actually brought in a third party. So it's not something that we do in-house. Basically, he doesn't just solely
somebody to consult or what?
Yes, a consultant. His name is Fred. We've known him for several years. Like, he redid our health and safety plan, trains us on any piece of equipment that we might use, trains us on general job site safety, fall protection, scaffolding setup. Even now with COVID, there's extra little things in place now that OSHA has come up with that he's all in tune with to train our people. So we got him coming back in because, like Chris said, with all of the new faces that we've hired over the past several months, it's like, okay, let's just kind of start over. We might as well start over and just get him out. So he'll audit our job sites. Our crews are familiar with him. He has the authority to fine our crews, fine our in-house guys, because we have like a zero tolerance for safety. It's like, it's non-negotiable. Do you know what I mean? We don't care if the builder allows you to wear pants or not, or shorts, because that was something that came up a couple of years ago. There was a gentleman that worked for us that said, well, Ryan Holmes, that all of the superintendents wear shorts. I don't care. Charter Homes will not allow you to wear shorts on their job sites. Well, it's not OSHA requirement. We don't care. If there's one builder that we do work for that doesn't allow you to wear shorts on the job site, then that's just the way it is across the board.
Sure,
Yeah. So, and that's like what Chris was saying, whichever rule is more stringent, whether it be ours or the builders or OSHA's, that's the one you go off of.
Yeah.
And that way, you're safe.
Yeah, it makes it crystal clear too.
Yes.
Eliminate the gray area.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because listen, last thing I want to do is argue with a guy in the morning about having to go to a job site. And I mean, right. Let's just say in our industry, man, we do a lot of service too. I run the service department in Maryland. If I have a guy that didn't plan on going on a Charter Homes job site, right? So he wore shorts today. Well, what happens if I get an emergency leak over at Charter Homes? He's the closest guy there. What, I got to send you home to change your pants? Like,
right.
And
we ran into that.
Sense, man.
He's speaking from experience. Yes. When guys just want to argue, but if you set that expectation right from the beginning, the day of hire, then there's no question. That's just what it is. And the hardest part is like hard hats and safety glasses. Well, you have guys that, been in doing this for 30 years that just aren't accustomed to doing those kinds of things. So what we're trying to do is get out in front of the curve. Okay. So if you hire a 25 something or a 30 something, that's just the standard. That's just it. That's all they'll know. Hopefully we can get it to that point. Like, we're trying to start, not a trend, but like set the bar. Like Chris said, we're the most visible person on the job site, whether we're doing siding or we're doing the roof. We're the first ones that you see when you come onto that job site. We need to set that pace. I don't care if the guy that just walked out of the shitter has a pair of shorts on and no hard hat. When you get out of your vehicle, you better have your hard hat on. And if you're going to use any sort of pneumatic tool, you better have safety glasses on. So that's just one little thing that we try to separate ourselves from the rest. Plus, like Chris and you say this all the time, it's our responsibility to make sure that you make it home to your family tonight. Bottom line, that's what it comes down to. We're not trying to be assholes. We're not trying to nitpick what you're doing,
Yeah.
you know, and stay on you and to irritate you. It's so you make it home safe
Yeah,
tonight.
absolutely. I just told one of my guys the other day, you know, one of my guys came to me. He's one of my lead guys, and said that some of the other guys weren't doing what they need to do on the job site to be safe. And he put me on the speakerphone, and I was like, "Look, man, I don't want to have to call either one of your wives tomorrow or tonight and let them know that something happened to you. Like, I don't want to make that phone call.
It's real.
So,
Yeah,
like, my job is to make sure you go
word.
home the same way you left your wife. You know, that's my responsibility. Screw the work, screw the money, all that other stuff.
Yep.
You need to be able to provide for your family tomorrow. You know what I mean?
You always say every
that's what
workplace
it's
rule
about.
exists because somebody else got hurt.
Yeah.
Before you, right?
Right.
You know?
Facts, man. And,
Well,
and
we've
unfortunately, dude,
experienced it. That's why
we
so
live in a
serious
world
about it.
where we have to label the coffee cup that it's hot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the world that we live in now. So let's just, like Ty said, let's try to stay in front of the curve here, and you know, not make rules based off of, you know, let's not be reactive. You know what I mean? Let's be proactive.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So here's a question.
Mhm.
Maybe I'm putting us all on the spot.
Go
But
for it.
there's a saying I learned early on: employees expect what managers inspect. So the question is, what we've talked about to this point is we set expectations, but could we agree that those expectations can't really be met unless we inspect for them? You kind of just touched on this, Chris. Somebody called out somebody, and you got on the speaker with them and just spoke into that, right? So the question becomes is how do you guys continually inspect the expectation you set? Because if you're not inspecting me, then eventually I'm going to kind of feel like, well, maybe they don't expect me to do this.
Yeah, I can
Mhm.
easily answer that, Chris.
Good
It's
point.
culture. It's culture. If we bleed that down from the top, listen, I can say it all I want in the morning before those guys leave, but you know, it hits a little bit different when your brother that's sitting next to you in the vehicle calls you out on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If we instill that culture on a day-to-day basis, you know, when your teammate that rides with you every day, when he calls you out, it's a little bit different than when I say it. You know what I mean? Because you know, you spend the most time with that guy. You know, you guys got each other's back no matter what, and that's the kind of culture that you got to build, and you got to just stay on it. Consistency, man, consistency.
Yeah.
And
I think I would agree with that more than what you said, Chris, because I think that saying, I don't know where you got that, but that seems to me like smothering almost in a way. And I feel
Micromanaging.
like as a parent, and I think I view parenthood and management in a similar light, where it's like the more I can trust and genuinely trust my kids, my son, the better off they do. Now they make mistakes along the way, but if I set expectations clearly and then I say, I'm trusting you, don't mess this up, and I'm trusting you because you've proven that I can trust you. Then he really blossoms and he goes above and beyond what, you know, anything that I could ever say. And so I think if you can genuinely set expectations, genuinely and trust somebody with something because they've proven themselves.
Yeah.
They will make mistakes along the way. You have to have repercussions and consequences when mistakes are made, and a zero tolerance policy might be the consequences of something, right?
Yeah.
And a level of inspection probably is, you know, appropriate as well. But
It takes all of it.
It takes all of it.
Yeah,
It's
you know what I mean?
Well,
It takes
because
what you said, and it takes what you said too, because micromanaging something doesn't get any of us anywhere. We're all busy, and we all have to do our jobs. You know, and if I'm worried that you're not doing your job, then that pulls me away from me doing my job.
what do we call that, Ty?
And really, what's that?
What do we call that, man?
We call it the circle of safety.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know,
Safety is one of those exceptions, you know.
Yeah.
I'm going to yank my kid off the railing.
Yeah.
There's
Right.
zero tolerance
Right.
there.
right?
Well, because let's face it, guys, when you're in our industry, you know, we have a zero tolerance policy because unfortunately the mistakes that you make on safety has a zero tolerance policy sometimes. You know, guys don't walk home sometimes from that. You know, if you don't tie off on a roof and you fall off, a lot of times you don't get a second chance, man. That action right there has a zero tolerance policy. So you got to take it serious, man. You got to take it serious, and culture above all else, man. If we instill it in our guys, it almost becomes they don't want to let each other down. They don't want to let us down more than they want to follow the rules.
Yes.
Yep.
Right on.
I love it.
Yeah, I do too. Well, tonight's been a great episode. We're an hour and 4 minutes. Some of us are going to a concert tonight. Did you guys get tickets for that?
Didn't.
No.
Part-timers.
Yeah. Well,
No, I didn't.
are you like it was a bigger hit?
You guys are
We
in
were-
New Orleans, man. Are you guys going to
Country
Weezy
correct?
concert?
What's
Are
that?
you guys
Going to
going
see
to a Little
Willie
Wayne
Nelson.
concert without me?
We're going to see Willie Nelson tonight.
Willie Nelson.
Big and Rich.
Wait, is Willie Nelson?
He's opening, right? He's opening
Willie
for Big and
Nelson's
Rich.
playing tonight?
Willie
You
Nelson.
gotta be kidding me.
Willie
Okay,
Nelson.
we're
We
gonna-
can
It's
still
gonna be
go.
a
I think
smoke
we can
fest.
still
Yeah,
go.
I think we're-
I think we can still go.
I didn't know Willie Nelson's beer. I don't know many Big and Rich songs. I know maybe that's
Yeah.
something I'll get crucified for on this podcast, but
Yeah.
Willie Nelson I'm a fan of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody is, even if you're not. You
Yeah,
are.
no kidding.
Yeah,
Seems like a
but-
nice
yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
We
Smokes
were
a
just
lot of
trying to
weed.
keep.
Yeah.
You know, he's down with the American flag and smokes weed. What the
Yeah,
hell?
exactly.
He's a lot more popular in that department these days.
Yeah,
He's a
420.
roofer, man. It sounds like you're just describing roofers right there, right?
that's right. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's right.
Well,
Well, we
you guys-
appreciate
you
you
guys
having
have-
us
yeah,
on today.
Thank you, thank you, Lead
everybody.
Scout.
Bucky.
Tom, it was nice to finally meet you through virtual here, man. Talked to you on the phone, but I haven't actually like.
We've
Yeah,
been on the phone
face
for a
to
little
face
while.
here,
One day.
so, yeah.
There's a lot of cool vendors down here at IRE too. I don't know if you guys have the chance, anybody that's listening, check out the guest list because there's some really interesting, innovative stuff that's happening.
Yes.
And if you haven't been, come down.
Yeah.
It's good to get away.
Uh
I mean, I
And
think
the
my
gumbo
wife was
is-
watching a little bit ago,
huh.
and
She was.
you know, honey, that I need to get away. Like you got to get away. So and
Sounds
there's
like
some
she
really cool-
needs to get away.
She does. She does.
There's
Yeah.
a snow day I know in Michigan today.
It was a snow day in
Oh,
Michigan.
boy.
Yeah, I know.
And you're here.
Hey, if I remember
Morning,
correctly, Lead Scout guys, aren't you guys? You guys are Michigan fans, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, big.
You
Go
got,
Blue.
I just got an
Blue.
update while we were on the show that Harbaugh announced
Is it
to
official
Michigan
now?
that he's staying.
He's staying.
He's staying, man.
Cool.
The
He's
rumor
staying.
mill was flying.
I was
I
gonna
know.
say if Harbaugh leaves like within 24 hours of Tom Brady retiring, worst week of my life.
I know, right? No, but he just let Michigan know that this isn't going to be a reoccurring thing. He's staying in Michigan, so
Oh,
that's
good,
a
yeah.
good thing.
Go
for
Blue.
us. Go
Not
Blue.
good
Yeah.
to-
Good
Yep.
stuff.
Our boy, born in, well, not born, but raised in at the Lions, head to the Super Bowl. So that's all we can ask.
Yeah.
For. Yeah, that wouldn't have happened.
Matt
to the Lions,
Stafford.
right?
Yep.
Yeah.
8 years, 9 years.
Yeah, I
The
know, right?
training-
And
training.
Eminem's going to be at the halftime show, so it's probably the closest thing that the
Oh.
Lions are going to see to
Oh,
the
my
Super Bowl.
goodness.
But you know,
That's about as close as the Lions
This
are
is
going to
the
get, Chris.
closest taste we've all had. Yeah,
absolutely.
we'll take it. Honestly.
Yeah, yeah. You guys, listen. You guys all enjoy yourselves, man. Every single person sitting at that table deserves it, man. And you know the people behind the scenes, the wives of the work guys, man. You guys all deserve it.
Amen to
Enjoy
that.
yourselves down there.
Amen to that.
You know, we'll hold the fort down up here while you guys are gone. And Tyrus, I look forward to seeing your face in person here soon, brother.
Yep. Me too, brother. Miss all you guys. Love you.
Yeah, love you guys too. Everyone have a good night. Thank
Love
you
you,
for
brother.
tuning in. Everyone,
Nice
TC
meeting all
Backer
y'all.
family. Any new watchers, make sure you guys hop over to Lead Scout, give them a like. If you have not already, hop on the TC Backer construction page. Make sure you hop over to the TikTok too. We got one of the very first videos of how the GAF solar Timberline solar shingles are installed. So make sure you hop over there and check it out. It is in Spanish.
It is.
But visually, you'll get to see how this thing gets put together. So
That is
there's
better in
very
Spanish.
many-
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think there's
It was
very many
great.
other videos out there of it. So
I think it's over 70,000 views right now.
Wow.
it's crazy.
Wow.
Man. It's crazy.
It's probably 80 right now.
Let's hit 100.
Yeah. I'm going for a million.
Hundreds
A
of
million.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. We
Okay,
don't
we-
F around here, man. Bigger,
Yeah.
go
We're
big or
going for a
go home.
million.
That's right.
Yep. Cool, man. Well,
Yeah,
good to
everyone
see you
enjoy the rest
guys.
of your
and
weeks.
this,
TC Backer
You too.
family. We
Take
love
care.
you. Thanks for supporting us. Everyone across the country. We see you guys. Enjoy the rest of your week. See you guys next Wednesday, 7
you.
p.m. Episode
See you next
111.
Wednesday.
Later.